Welcome to the Wrestling Roundtable. No, I'm going to talk about some MMA. Lots been happening as of late, a lot of news. First thing I really want to talk about though is this Frank Mir Nogueira rematch for UFC 119, I believe. Um, now, I remember the first fight. This is an interesting fight because of what happened in the first fight. Now, when the first fight was announced in UFC 92, which was a great card, um, a lot of people said, "Oh, Nogueira's going to beat him, easy peasy. It's going to be, a walk in the park for him." And they built the ultimate fighter around them as coaches, Mir and Nogueira. And I think a lot of people wanted Frank Mir to get his ass handed to him because of how he came across in that season. Uh, and I had this belief when we were doing predictions that I felt Frank Mir was going to beat him. I don't know why, but I felt Mir was going to beat Nogueira. And I said this online, not on YouTube, of course, because I hadn't done videos then. And a lot of people castrated me and were like, "What? No way." Well, we get to the fight, and Frank Mir outboxes him and beats him in the second round, stops him. And a lot of people were just stunned by that because he was the first person to stop Nogueira. Fedor couldn't do it. Krokop couldn't do it. Guys who actually fought him, who should have been able to do it, haven't been able to do it. Guys have had him reeling, but now Frank Mir is the first guy to officially have stopped Nogueira. And it was interesting because a lot of information came out after the fight, and people said that at first there was a lot of credit for Frank Mir to win, and then afterwards it was, well, Nogueira was in hospital allegedly weeks leading into the fight with a staph infection, and apparently he'd taken antibiotics, and it was said that his state was weakened. He was not, he was nowhere near 100% allegedly when he came into that fight, and it's interesting because a lot of commentators have said this, a lot of fans have said this, uh, people on their own talk shows have said this, that that's what they felt was the reason why Frank Mir won. And Frank Mir has been coming out and saying, no, actually, I beat him. Why are people making excuses? Yada, yada, yada. And I always felt it'd be interesting if they had a rematch, what would happen. And with the way that things have happened in the heavyweight landscape right now, Mir obviously is not going to be fighting Brock Lesnar for a while. It made sense now to have this rematch as they're both coming off losses. It will be interesting to see what happens this time. Now, some people feel that Nogueira has rejuvenated himself, but when he fought Cain Velasquez, which was his last fight, Cain Velasquez just knocked him out like that, and it was stunning to me. It was a stunning knockout. Um, to me, the one thing that I would say suspect on Nogueira is his chin now, because he's been stopped twice, and the second time was more devastating than the last time with Frank Mir. Granted, he had that fight with Randy Couture, and that was a war. That was a great fight, and a lot of people thought, "Wow, Nogueira looks like he's back to his best." But we all know kind of where he stands when he fights Frank Mir. Is Nogueira really going to be back, or is he really done now? People will say, well, he's had his wars in Pride. The things that have happened to him physically, it's going to catch up with him at some point. And the man has had a great career. Let's not take that away from him. Nogueira is a great mixed martial artist. And how's he going to fare against the new and improved Frank Mir, if you want to call it that? Because Mir has now, put on incredible size. Has gone up to about 270, cuts down from about 275, I believe. To be a super heavyweight. Um, is Mir going to come in that kind of shape and fight Nogueira like that? He might do. I've heard that Mir's gone a little bit back down now. He just stays around 265 now. But either way, what's going to happen? And I'm sure in a way Mir wants to prove again that the fight the first time wasn't a fluke, and he'll do it again. It's going to be an interesting fight to watch. What happens with the winner afterwards, I don't know. Maybe they get the guy off the next fight I want to talk about, the Roy Nelson Dos Santos fight. I think they might get the loser of that fight. I don't know why. Another thing that's interesting though to me is also Roy Nelson in the UFC. A lot of people that I talk to outside are like, really, this guy? When the Ultimate Fighter season happened, and I think that when you look at Roy Nelson, no, he's not the what you would expect from this super athlete, not having ripped up abs and huge arms and chest and rippling pectoral muscles. He looks like a normal guy, much like Fedor as well. The guy is, he's got considerable fat, but he's got great skills as a mixed martial artist. He's got some credentials as a mixed martial artist, and his next fight against Junior Dos Santos may actually lead to Roy Nelson getting a title fight. And from what I understand, I don't know if this has been officially announced, but from all accounts, I've been told that this is a number one contenders fight. So if Nelson wins, and it's not out of the realms of possibility that he could win, but if Nelson wins, he may be fighting for the title. And that's another interesting thing right there. Because Roy Nelson versus Brock Lesnar, if Brock wins, would be a very, very big fight to watch. Because you have two fighters who are almost the polar opposites in the way they look. You have Lesnar, I don't like using the word, Lesnar looks like a freak of nature, pretty much. And you have Roy Nelson, who looks like someone in your local bar that you see, knocking them back and having some chips. And it's such an interesting contrast in personality, no, in just aesthetic looks, that I think that's what makes the fight quite big. Um, but you know what? It's not out of the realms of possibility that Nelson could get a title fight eventually. I mean, he knocked out Brendan Schwab. He knocked out another guy in his last fight, the Junior Dos Santos fight. Junior Dos Santos is a carefully protected UFC project, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I can tell that they see a lot in him, and they want to kind of build him up into a star in their heavyweight division. But it's not out of the realms of possibility that Nelson could beat him, and they're going to have to give Nelson the title fight, and that's going to be very interesting if Nelson beats Dos Santos. Who knows? Dos Santos might completely annihilate him. We don't know. But yeah, that's something I want to talk about. I'm going to do another video in a minute because time's running out. I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the whole sticking to a game plan versus having an exciting fight and why there's a conflict of interest there. And this is stemming from something coming off of the Rashad Evans Quinton Jackson fight and something that Rashad Evans had said. So stay tuned. I'm just going to stop right here and I'll put the next one up and have a good one.